blockchain is all about, so that our viewers can understand how it affects the way we store assets. So blockchain provides this security, this immutability for any digital assets that we share, we save, and we secure in a network or in a platform. And these real-world applications are basically being improved in the way people transact, in the way people spend, and in the way people deal with information. And this blockchain technology and its application provides us a more seamless, more secured way of getting this information and saving this information, and practically just the whole application and the whole processing inside the technology. So just like with real estates, for example, because you have identified these documentations as part of your digital asset, then people will now be able to feel more secured in accessing this information and attach this to a real portfolio or to a real profile, just like land titles, just like any other business processes.
So, Anne, when you talk about this end-to-end system of trust and security, you're also talking about the speed of transactions, making things a little more simultaneous. Which industries or which examples have you seen the Philippines, even if it's in its infancy, are already getting some traction in terms of using blockchain?
In the finances, basically, because there are several, not sure whether it's in the Philippines yet and it's gone live, but in most countries, in the financial world, wherein they skip or get rid of the banking system or the centralization, then the speed is more faster and quicker. And not just in the space of finances, but in the accessing of any documentations, any workflow within a certain network, blockchain provides that sense of speed.
We have a large OFW audience, right? And the key thing there is, do you see this happening via remittances anytime soon? Because the intermediation of remittances is quite high right now.
Yeah, definitely. Remittance is one of the use cases, the best use cases for tokenizing or putting this financial transaction on blockchain.
You've actually used the magic word for me, is tokenizing, right? It's one way of securitizing everything that we have. But what has to happen for that to be a real thing here in the Philippines, to be able to tokenize real estate?
When you tokenize, for example, like real estate, you provide that sense of security on the identity of a certain asset, whether it's property or a portion of a property, under a certain name or under a certain ownership.
When you say you tokenize something, the security of that is already in the file, in the ledger itself, no? So you don't have to check any other database anymore. Like, of course, the LRA, the Land Registration Authority, that's where all your data is lodged in terms of whether your property in Laguna, you've used that as a mortgage for as a collateral for something else. But that's a separate database. When you use blockchain for that, that's already imputed in the product, in the token itself. No?
Somebody's on the back end already for that.
Because the information is distributed, right?
And so it makes it should improve confidence in the markets, not just in real estate. If you're talking about also, let's say, the bond market or stock market trading, then that should make everything seamless and everything easy to liquidate.
Yes, definitely. So in relation to real estate properties being tokenized, it's one way, and another way of really using blockchain would be on the CADT, or the Certificate of Ancestral Domain Titles, for our indigenous and tribal people probably in south of Mindanao, in south of Palawan, where there's like so many farmers there who has this ownership of lands way back from their grandparents.
Their prior rights, right?
Yes. And there's no way to really connect the identities of these people and this community to the land that they own, and that the blockchain can really help.
That can be an application.
I absolutely see that. I mean, as someone who develops projects in Palawan, I mean, we're really looking at some tensions between the NCIP, which is supposed to take care of IP rights, and the Land Registration Authority, which is supposed to register these CATs. So blockchain can help fuse that together without any politics in the mix. Now,
exactly.
The question I have is with regard to moving the needle, as Sal was alluding to. How do you get an institution to say, okay, let's adopt this platform so that you can have more traction, and then you can have more lead users saying, this is safe to do, we can minimize risks?
Yeah, kasi parang it seems nowadays there's more fear than excitement, no?
Yeah, and I guess because you have to separate the platform, which is blockchain, from the ICOs and the coins,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
how do you get them to get more confidence?
There's only one key here, and I think that would be education on blockchain. That's why me and my partners are also advocating this and really going out in different businesses, in different chambers, in different organizations, speaking about blockchain, the value of this technology, more than the digital assets which we commonly known as cryptocurrencies or tokens. That follows. The investment form or the investment vehicle in the cryptocurrencies and tokens are just the byproduct of the technology itself.
Yes.
But if businesses, institutions, organizations, and like even cooperatives and banks get to realize the value of blockchain, then the way people will be able to transact will be much more different than what it will be today.
Can you concretize for me how it can be applied to the stock market? At the moment, our market is very shallow. There's very little investment there. Less than 1% of Filipinos invest in the stock market. Most of the money there come from overseas, the investments from foreign investors. How is this going to change the way things are done, maybe in the investment field?
In the investment side of things, securities, stocks as securities will have a different take on this, because on the use of blockchain alone, the securities and other bonds and other documents can be, of course, tokenized or digitized. But in terms of other, when you merge this with other alternative digital assets like cryptocurrencies, then that will be a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I ask is that I know that in the Philippine Stock Exchange, just maintaining the servers is a very difficult thing to do. And when the servers are down, the market is frozen and nothing moves. And I know of several moments in the past where this has happened, and it's very bad for the market. The credibility,
the confidence
of investors, difficult. Can this be solved by using blockchain to trade?
I'm sure.
Kasi wala nang central
the
regulatory,
very
diba?
Yes.
You don't need, in fact, you don't need the PSE anymore.
It's a question of settlements,
I mean,
about
if the
transaction
vision is
settlements,
there,
basically,
like
yeah.
in cryptocurrency, you don't need central bank. So in stock market, will you still need the Philippine Stock Exchange?
If we have come to that maturity level wherein we adopt blockchain even for stock markets, then you are basically getting rid of the centralization. So means there's no,
I know you as an entrepreneur in terms of other fields as well. You know, you've got the healthcare business going on. Tell us about the applications of blockchain to these industries wherein settlements are happening, information is secured, securitization is, taken care of.
Shipping pa.
Yeah, shipping.
Delivery, shipping, banking.
What's the exciting? What is it going to? What kind of excitement are you seeing in certain industries and how they're converting to using this platform?
I'll give one example in the logistics space, for example, in the whole end-to-end ERP, the enterprise resource planning, from the raw materials, trying to monitor your raw materials, from the pricing and to the production of this. When you put that on blockchain, monitoring will be much easier. And in terms of tracking your assets, in terms of the logistics and where it's going and coming from, it gives a lot of rich data and able to help business decisions become more practical and more in-depth in terms of its application. So not just in the logistics space, it's basically in any institutions that require transparency. If you want to cut down on corruption, if you want to cut down on bureaucracy, fees, and other hidden charges, then blockchain.
Now you're speaking my language.
So government procurement, you think, is going to be a big
Oh, yeah,
opportunity?
everything
definitely,
there.
Yeah.
definitely.